Welcome to Inner Map Streaming, and this week's question is a very interesting one. Somebody has asked me, should I leave him or her, or should I stay with him? It was very interesting. I mean, without the context, first of all, that's a difficult one. But I decided to answer it because of one reason, and that is to really emphasize that decisions like this, decisions that have got to do with the way we feel about other people, are decisions that only you can make. There is no one that has the wisdom about what's going on in our life as much as we do. They may have experiences on their own. And actually what I'm going to share with you is a sort of a gentle process that might be helpful in any decision making, but no one ever knows what's right for us. And that's a statement that I'm saying after working with many people and advising people on many occasions. But at the end of the day, and my clients quite often ask me, what would you do, Mitra, if you were there? I said, but I'm not there. You are there. When I'm there, I'm going to make a decision for myself. Few things about decision making that might be helpful. One is to gather outwardly information, because you need to know about this person and you need to spend time. That's what psychology is for. They give you hours, actually. You should get to know the person for these many hours. So do what you need to do outwardly as far as experiences and information and being together and all of that. But my business is not that part. What I want to talk about is the other part of it, which is really trusting and connecting to a deeper wisdom that is available to you, to me, to all of us, which we quite often ignore. So there is the information, it's the knowing of the what we know about this particular person. Then there is the wisdom in us that has a deeper knowing, that has a knowing that, if you like, for a lack of a better word, the higher self of me, the bigger, the more aware part of me knows. So we combine these two, and then we give it a space for the decision to arise. Sometimes we're in a rush, and that lack of space, that lack of pause, that lack of contemplation does not allow the wisdom to arise and help us with our decision-making process. And you know, salespeople know that. That's why they offer you something on spot and say, you know what, this offer will expire if you leave this property. You know, salespeople quite often do that. I remember in the 70s when salespeople used to come to our doors, they would just, first of all, prove to you that you cannot live without this item in life, and you start wondering, how did I ever live without this? And secondly, they give you a really high price, and then they would say, but today if you buy it, there will be like something crazy, like 60% or 70% off. And you would say, okay, come back tomorrow and I'll buy it. They say, no, this offer expires when I leave. Because industrial psychologists know that when you go and connect to deeper self, to your wisdom, the wisdom in you may challenge the informed mind of yours. And they don't want that to happen because they've spent so much energy and resources to convince you that this is the right thing to do. So gather the information, get to know the person, get to know whatever it is that you want to make decisions about, and then connect with the higher self, with the wisdom that it's in you. Again, there is a guided meditation in our app called Wisdom. It's a very useful meditation. You can use it for so many occasions. And I want you to use that to make decisions and then leave it. Allow the answer to arise and arrive naturally. Don't give it deadlines. One thing before I go about making decisions, and I have explained this in a different context. When we make decisions and then we regret it and we say, I made a mistake, you have to understand at that moment, that was the best decision. And that's something that I learned from my teacher. he said to me that whenever you make a decision, if you are sure that's the decision in that moment, know that that is the best decision. I said, but sometimes I realized that it wasn't. I said, oh, in that moment, that was a right decision. But, you know, when my consciousness goes higher, when my consciousness goes to a place that can hold far more wisdom, and I can access far more wisdom that exists within me and lives within me, and maybe also information that I can gather, then the decision and the outcome of that decision is challenged, and that's when we call it experience. So thank you for your question, but I cannot make that decision for you. You need to do the work, and that is part of your journey. And is it possible that you'll make mistake? Probably, yes, but that's what we're here for. But you don't want to do it without doing your homework, without connecting to that wisdom, because mind may have different information, but wisdom never ever lies, and it never ever changes its mind. I may have access to more limited aspect of my wisdom at the time that I'm making a decision because of my consciousness level, but the wisdom never changes its mind. Hope this is helpful, and hope you have a clear decision about whether you should stay with him or leave him. Whatever you do, stay curious and be well.